This is the bulky yoke sweater knit along. So we're going to try a yoke sweater bulky. I'm going to use my KH940, but I'm going to follow all of the instructions I created for a bulky. So this is how it's going to go. We're going to make the yoke first, and then we are going to make the sleeves and the back. That shouldn't be too hard. Let's start with the yoke. The yoke. Let's go. My instructions say that I need to cast on 33 left and 33 right. One, two, three. Okay, for a total of 66 stitches. I'm going to use my cast on comb. And do a proper cast on with waste yarn. Now you should be knitting, according to my instructions, at least 10 rows of waste yarn. So that's about 10 rows of waste yarn. I'm cutting my waste yarn, putting it to the side. And now I will pick up my first color of yarn. I highly suggest E-wrapping, so that is what I'm going to do with this. Drop it behind the bed, put it on the stitch, and bring it back. If you do not know how to E-wrap, there are many videos on YouTube showing how this is done. I prefer to pull my E-wraps through stitches, that way I don't have as much pressure on my carriage as I knit across. You got a pretty good idea as to what I'm doing, so I will come back. You can count your E-wrap row as row 1, or you can count it as its own row. Just make sure that when you do your second yoke that you count it as well, the same way. I am putting a yarn marker at 0, so that when I go to do the back or the front, I know approximately where 0 is, so I can line it up properly. Okay, I'm now going to bring all my stitches forward. And my instructions say to knit 6 rows. So I'm counting this as row 1. So my E-wrap is row 1. My tension should be at 5 if you're using medium yarn. And now I'm going to knit across. So that's row 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. So now that we're at row 6, we're going to take the work off, and then we are going to go down to 56 stitches, which is 28 left and 28 right. Before we do that, we will snip our yarn and place in a different color. That way you can see the graduations. I will go over rather quickly how we use a garter bar. Whether you have a bulky garter bar or a Chris Crafter garter bar, they all work essentially the same. You want to take all the weight off of your machine and move your work forward. So weights are off. Moving your work forward. So stitches are forward. Using the cast on comb to very carefully move it up. Of course, this is being bad. Locking in your stitches so that the needle butts don't move back and forth. Very carefully moving your stitches up and onto the garter bar. If you can pull it in one foul swoop, you won't get any miscommunications. Now that the stitches are all on the garter bar, we will remove the garter bar. Remove any clips that you have on your yarn because they will cause issues. We are going down to 56 stitches, so 28 and 28. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I want to reduce every 6th stitch. So moving along. So if you start from the center and you move it inward, right about here, that's cool. We're going to do it the easy way. Into the little divot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you have a stitch that did not go into your garter bar, just manipulate it so it does. You're doubling up 6 and 7, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that one didn't quite go all the way over. Just give an extra pull. Move it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we should have 4 more increases. I mean decreases. Going down to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one's being naughty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the last one. There we go. And that is perfect. Now you can leave your cast on comb on for this one, or you can take it off. This is your choice. I prefer to leave it on for this one. Move your stitches back. Reset your row counter. Take your second yarn into your carriage. Row counters at 0, 0, 0. Knit 6 rows. 1, 2. Yeah, it's this easy. Resetting our row counter. Flipping over our cast on comb. Bringing it forward, bringing our stitches forward, locking them in, locked in, cutting our yarn, going to our next color. For ease of this project, I'm going to just use purple again, instead of using 4 different colors. Behind the latches. Okay, everything's on a stitch. Grabbing my cast on comb. Everything looks good, giving it a good hard pull, and we're on. At this point, I have to take off my cast on comb for the simple reason that it's going to interfere in what we are doing. And you'll understand that soon. We're now going down 46 stitches, which is 23 left and 23 right. We are now going to start from the opposite side that we did before to keep the reductions in varying directions. So now we're going to do every 5th stitch. So 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. 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 Okay. Trying again. Good enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Over. This one is of course going to interfere. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it. They're all captured. Now that should have worked out perfectly, but I probably missed one over here where I didn't quite go over far enough. And that's okay. Things were just going a little sideways. put a little tiny weight on this. Put my purple back in. And I'm going to knit 6 rows. One. I'm going to put a claw weight on either side. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cutting my yarn. Moving this forward. Removing my weight. Putting this just temporarily on. Now, when you go to try and move this forward, it's not going to be very nice. In fact, it's going to be quite naughty. I want to move it all forward. Lock in your needle butts. I'm going to use this nice short piece. Everything's looking good. Okay, got my short. We are now going down to 19 and 19. So 19 and 19. For 19 and 19, we need to do every 5th stitch again. So all of the latches are open. Two, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now these are the last ones. We will now go to our blue yarn. Loaded. I'm going to clip it. I need some weight on this, so I'm going to use my triangle weight evenly across the board. Small weight here. I'm going to reset my row counter, and I'm going to knit 6 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now at this point, you could remove this work from the machine and then knit an entire collar and then come back. It's actually explained in the instructions. But for the ease of this project, I want to keep it simple. I'm going to snip my yarn. I'm going to move my work forward. I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to put it on my garter bar. We're now going down to another page. Going down to 28 stitches. So that's 14 left and 14 right. Again, mine looks really, really small compared to yours. And yeah, you'll see why. So a little bit closer here. So I'm going to decrease 5 stitches each side. So that's 10 stitches total. So every third stitch. I'm going to make sure that my latches are open. So every third stitch. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, another 3, another 3, 3 more, and then that's it. I will now knit across one time with my purple yarn again. And then I will bring up my ribber and we will knit some 1x1 ribbing. Alright, so remember you're supposed to be in tension 5. Any medium yarn you choose. So I'm knitting once across and making noise. I am now taking off my connecting arm. Moving the yarn. Putting on my ribber one. I'm reducing my tension by 2 whole numbers. Loading my yarn. I am now going to transfer my stitches onto my ribber. So this is how I do it. I'm going to do a 2x2 configuration. So 2 on the main, 2 on the ribber. If you're having a hard time, you can pull down on it. This is not a very deep collar, so you want to knit about 12 rows. And then you will backstitch. I strongly suggest doing a fold over, but for ease of time, I'm just going to do a base project, so not a big deal. Okay, I'm going to put on my rubber comb and then I'll be right back. Alright. Putting this up. This one's out. Resetting my row counter to 1. I'm now going to knit 12 rows. Well, I'm going to knit 2 row 12. Okay, I'm going to switch my stitches back up. And then I will backstitch off camera. Isn't it adorable? Okay, so here it is. This is your first yoke. Now you're going to knit another one. Okay? So I'll come back when I have knit my second one. So now I'm going to mattress stitch these 2 yokes together, and then I'll be back. This is just adorable, isn't it? So now we are going to do sleeves.